You set an alarm last night. You woke up this morning, checked your phone, made something to eat, and started moving through a schedule. You had places to be, things to finish, a list running somewhere in your head. And somewhere between the morning rush and the afternoon slump, a strange question might have flickered. Is this just what humans do? Have we always done this? The answer is no. And the truth of what ancient humans actually did all day is far stranger, far slower, and far more surprising than anything on your calendar. Start with the hours. Anthropologist Marshall Salin spent years studying hunter-gatherer societies and published a landmark essay in 1968 called The Original Affluent Society. His conclusions stunned the academic world. The average hunter-gatherer, he found, worked somewhere between 3 and 5 hours a day to meet all of their survival needs. 3 to 5 hours. Not 8, not 10. 3 to 5. The rest of the day was theirs. Your ancestors were not grinding. They were not hustling. They had more leisure time than you do right now. But what did that leisure look like? That is where it gets interesting. Food came first, but not the way you might imagine. A group of ancient humans did not wake up and immediately go hunting. Hunting was exhausting, dangerous, and unpredictable. It was saved for specific moments, organized around specific conditions. Most mornings began slowly. People woke with the sun. There was no alarm, no urgency. The fire from the night before might still be smoldering. Someone would tend it. Others would stretch, talk, watch the light change. Researcher Kim Sterelny, in his work on the evolution of human cognition, argues that daily life for most of human prehistory was structured around social information more than physical survival. Knowing who was trustworthy, who was skilled, who had seen water 2 valleys over, that knowledge was survival. So the conversations in the morning were not idle chatter. They were data collection. Then the day would split. Women, in most hunter-gatherer societies studied by modern anthropologists, were the primary food providers through foraging. Not because of any rule, but because it worked. Foraging, gathering roots, fruits, nuts, seeds, insects, eggs, was reliable. You went out, you came back with something. Hunting was a gamble. Foraging was a guarantee. So a group of women and children would leave camp and spend a few hours moving through the landscape. Not rushing, moving at the pace of attention. They were reading the ground, the trees, the insects. They knew which plants had ripened since yesterday. They knew which areas to avoid and why. This was not casual walking. It was a kind of expert reading of a living text that took years to learn and a lifetime to master. The children were learning the entire time. There were no schools. There were no lessons in the formal sense. But a child walking beside her mother for 10,000 mornings learned everything she needed to know. This is what anthropologist David Lancy calls the old way of education, learning through observation and participation, not instruction. Back at camp, the older members of the group did something that modern humans have nearly forgotten. They sat and talked. This is not a small thing. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who developed the famous Dunbar's number, the idea that humans can maintain stable social relationships with roughly 150 people, found that in modern humans, social grooming through language accounts for about 65% of all conversation time. Gossip, as Dunbar argues, is not trivial. It is the glue of human society. It is how trust is built and broken, how reputations are formed, how alliances are made. Your ancient ancestor sitting in the shade talking about who did what and who said what was not wasting time. She was doing some of the most important work of the day. In the afternoons, if a hunting party had gone out, the anticipation would build. Hunting was an event. It was not guaranteed. Success meant celebration, not just food, but status, story, communal ritual. The kill had to be divided. There were rules for this, complex and culturally specific. Who got which part of the animal was not random. It was a social contract renewed with every hunt. And if the hunters came back empty-handed, that happened too. Often, nobody starved for a single failed day. The foragers had come back with enough. The group absorbed the failure and kept moving. This is something your nervous system still remembers, even if your mind has forgotten it. The anxiety you feel when a project falls apart, when a plan fails, when the expected thing does not arrive. That anxiety was calibrated for a world where failure was survivable, where the group absorbed the loss, where tomorrow offered another chance. Your stress response is ancient, but it was built for a slower, more forgiving rhythm than the one you now live inside.